This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with your mental health professional. Hey, family. Welcome back to another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. Oh, family, I am excited to be here again with you this week for this episode. And listen, if you have not joined the family already, please do so now. So just click that little button and subscribe to the podcast. Please like the podcast, share the podcast, and if you feel froggy, then jump and make a comment on the podcast. If there's something that you like about the podcast, please say it, text it down there under the podcast, okay? Where you can put comments. I want you to comment. If there's some questions that you may have for me, ask me the questions. I'm your girl. Because listen, the intention here in this podcast is to support you on everything mental health. And let me just say to you, everything is mental health because mental health is a lifestyle. It's everything. It is you, with your daily practices. It is you going after your dreams. It is you in your romantic relationships. It is you with your relationships with your romantic, I just said that, with your romantic partner. It is you in relation to your family system, your parents. It is you in relation to your dysfunctional behavior. And that's okay because we all have dysfunctional behavior and we are on a path of becoming our best self. And here I am going to inspire you because I'm claiming it, right? That's the intention. I want to inspire you. My intention is to empower you and educate you, with giving you confidence to live your best life, to be authentic in doing so, because everything that you desire is waiting for you. So we moving all the bull stuff out the way so that you can access it because it's waiting for you. It's behind the door. What door do you want? Door 1, door 2, door 3. It's waiting for you. Okay. So family, today we are going to talk about speaking up for yourself. Family, do you have issues with speaking up for yourself? Ask yourself, do you ever find yourself in situations where when it's time for you to speak up for yourself, you all of a sudden start to feel like very uncomfortable? Maybe you get clammy hands, maybe your anxiety rises and you start to disassociate from your body, where you start to kind of feel like you're floating, like you're outside of yourself, which is that comes from having a lot of anxiety, high anxiety. So do you feel like that when you're in situations where you may feel that there's some conflict that comes up and you want to speak up for yourself, but there's all these things in your head that says that you can't, that you're going to lose, that you're going to be played out, that people are going to think you're stupid, that you're going to make a fool of yourself, or that you can't win? Are those things that fly in your head? And I'm sure you can come up with so many other fears as to what's going to happen if you speak up for yourself, especially if you are conflict avoidant, meaning that anytime there's any kind of conflict, you just avoid it, even when you are in the right and you have the right to speak up for yourself. Well, guess what? Your girl, Andrea, I'm here. And I'm here to let you know that you will not die if you speak up for yourself. I want you to go into the feeling of whatever that fear is. Because in order for us to bust down the fear, we need to go into it. Let me go into it. So you need to identify what do I fear if I speak up for myself? And this is in any situation that you're in. If you need to ask for a raise, if maybe your manager came up to you and they said, oh, we need to talk. There's a fear that rises up like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to do. What's the fear? Because you're going to look identify the fear. In a romantic relationship, if you feel like, I'm being dismissed, I'm being overlooked, I'm being minimized, I'm feeling like the person is not caring about my feelings, I need to speak up for myself. But what's the fear? Is the fear that they're going to leave you? Is the fear that they're going to look at you and shame you and make you feel like you're not enough, or maybe that you're too needy, that you want too much? What is the fear? Because whatever the fear is, family, we going into it. We are going into it. So we're going to identify what's the fear from stopping us from owning our stuff and speaking up for ourselves. What's the fear? Was there a story? Was there something that happened during childhood when you did try to speak up for yourself? Maybe you got cussed out. Maybe your parents or a parent, your nurturer told you that you need to stay in the child's place. Right? And there was some shame with that. Maybe you got a spanking. Maybe you even got smacked in your mouth for speaking up. Or maybe, like me in school, you always was punished because they said you talk too much. So then you got to a place where you was like, okay, I don't want everybody telling me I talk too much. So in situations when I want to talk, I'm just not going to talk. What is it? Or is it that you're judging yourself and you feel like you want to say something, but you don't know what to say? Family, what is it? Because I am here to tell you to own every moment that we are here on this earth. And you are worth being heard. You are worth being heard. Whether people around you want to hear you or not, you are worth being heard. And when you own that, then you know, oh, there's space for me and I will speak up. So here you go. I'll give you a formula. I'm going to give you some steps so that you know, family, how to speak up for yourself. So like I said, number one is identify the fear. What am I fearing? Because fear is holding me back, and I'm not trying to allow fear to hold me back any longer. So I'm going to speak up for myself. Okay. Number two, be confident. And confidence, you have to choose to be confident. Confidence it's a choice that you make because you have to think, am I being weak? Am I being a wuss? Or am I going to choose to be confident, which means that I feel good and I feel solid about what it is that I want to say. I feel as though I deserve to say it. So be confident. You have to choose to have confidence so that you can say whatever it is that you want to say. And I'm going to tell you, confidence comes from being educated. So if you're ever in a situation and you may feel like something was said or done to you, and you're feeling, even if you have fears from childhood and, those dysfunctional, thoughts that come up in your head, and you have those fears and it's blocking your confidence, then what I'm going to tell you to build that confidence is to educate yourself on whatever the topic is. Because once you are educated on anything, on whatever it is, then you can find the confidence in knowing that you're right about this. Once you get that confidence, like, okay, whatever I'm saying is right, then you can deliver it. You can choose to be confident because whatever it is that I'm standing on is correct. because I deserve to be heard. So it's confidence, knowing that you deserve to be here, knowing that your voice matters, and knowing that you deserve to be heard. So educate yourself on whatever the topic is. Now, you don't want to be silly and be going back and forth when you don't know what you're talking about. Now, having confidence in something that you're unaware of or that you're ignorant about, well, family, I'm going to tell you, you take a back seat to that. You don't need to have no confidence. Your confidence should show up as, I'm just going to take a back seat to this because I don't know what I'm talking about. Own that. You got me? Okay. Then look, you're speaking up on during that time is, I'm not really going to talk or speak on this topic because I'm not fully informed or I'm not educated. That's also a form of speaking up, is taking the back seat. But when you know what you know and you're educated, be confident and speak up. Number 3 is set boundaries. So even when you're in these conversations or when something comes up, maybe you're in the workplace or maybe you're in a relationship and you feeling like you need to speak up for yourself. A way that you can speak up and create the space is to set boundaries. So let's just say that there's somebody at work that says something to you that's inappropriate and you want to say something back, but you feel conflicted because you haven't worked on the confidence piece. You don't think that there's space for you. I'm going to ask you to think about, how do I set boundaries to create space for me to use my voice? Okay, y'all. So here I go. I'm going to give you a story about myself because I always do, so that you can connect to me and I can connect to you, because I am no different than you. All right. I am licensed. I am a licensed therapist. I may be more studied in this area, but me like you like me, I am on my path of becoming my authentic self. That is my goal every day. So I'm going to tell you about my mishaps, but I'm also going to tell you about my strong suits. Okay. I identify with my strengths and my weaknesses. So here you go. I'll start off with a story. One time, I was on a plane, and as I'm on the plane, it was me and it was one of my best friends, Tab. We're on a plane, and at that time we were on Southwest. So on Southwest, you try to get in the categories on Southwest. What is it, like the different categories? Like they have 1 through whatever number, another number through another number through another number. So there are no assigned seats. However, if you pay that extra $20, okay, per way that you go, whether it's a one way or or a round trip flight, you can pay like a $20. But look, it's a whole thing to that. You got to pay the $20 so that they kind of can put you in a group. And usually when you pay that extra $20 on top of your ticket, you kind of end up in the A group. And I think the groups may go from A, I'm going to say, to D. I'm not really sure, because y'all know I'm an A group kind of girl. I told y'all somewhere before that when I like to see, I need to be at the front. Okay, so here we go. So we got our little seats. We got our A group seats or whatever. So we kind of get on the plane early. So if you get on the plane later on Southwest, as you're getting on, you kind of only have the seats that are left, depending on what alphabet you're on. So let's just say this woman gets on the plane and she's in alphabet D, and most of the plane is kind of, the seats are filled in, and most people choose either the aisle seat or the window seat. Okay, so in between my best friend Tab and myself, there was a middle seat. Okay, but there were several middle seats on this plane. All right. And we were not the only Black women on this plane. And I'm using race for this conversation today, guys, because it makes some sense. There's a point of reference in it. We use it when it makes sense. Okay. All right. So We're sitting there, we're two black women, and there's a space in between. Then all of a sudden, this white woman gets on the plane. And then she's kind of, she looks a little disheveled, but she's like kind of like shoveling down the aisle, and she has her bags and her things. And as she's moving down the aisle, she's trying to choose, because there are only middle seats left. She's trying to choose where she's going to land. What middle seat is she going to take? Well, guess who received the gift of having this woman sit next to us? So I don't know. She looked over, she saw us, and she decided, I'm sitting right there in between them two. We like, oh my gosh. And the reason why we say, oh my gosh, is because we were hoping that, because this is what happens on Southwest, that people filled in the other middle seats and that maybe we would have an empty middle seat, right? So we could stretch out a little bit and use the middle seat, to put our little bags, you know what I'm saying, our little books, maybe lean over if we fall asleep, right? That was the goal. But no. This woman passes all the other middle seats and comes right and sits next to Drea and Tab, okay? So she's easing her way in. Oh, can I sit there? So I'm like, we like, yeah, come on, sit in. So using my heart. Come on, girl, sit on in here. Come on. I'm accepting that this is what's going to happen. This is the kind of ride. So she gets in and she sits there. And the first thing that she does is she just looks at me and she looks at my hair and she's like, oh my goodness. Now, family, I do get this a lot. I get this a lot because of my hair. So a lot of people do compliment me on this blonde curly hair. Okay, boom. So she looks at me and she's like, oh my gosh, your hair is beautiful, right? And I'm like, thank you. Because I always do. I look at people and I'm like, thank you. I don't care who you are with. Stop. Thank you. Because I really do appreciate a good compliment, All right. So I say, thank you. And then she looks and she raises her hand. And as she raises her hand, she is coming closer and closer to my hair. And I look at her and she looks at me because she's already complimented me, right? So she has my peripheral vision. I'm like really seeing her keen on this left side, his left eye. Okay, it's working. And then she's approaching with her hand. She gets ready to touch my hair. Now, for anyone who's listened to this podcast, if you are not a black woman, you may not understand this. So I'm going to educate you today. That is a no. It is never okay for you to touch another woman's hair, no matter what their race is. You don't touch another woman's hair. Why would you even think to do that? Okay? So if we know that that's a no-brainer, then why would you even think to touch me, this woman's hair, who happens to be a black woman and who really associates my hair with my crown? I take great honor in my hair. And then there's some background. Y'all know that, if you don't now, you do know that I used to own a hair salon for 11 years. So yes, I am a licensed therapist now. Second career, but in my first career, I was a licensed cosmetologist. Okay, I owned a hair salon. Okay, so coiffing hair is a part of my magic and my creativity. So I have, there's a lot of honor, okay, that I have in my hair and that I want other women to have in theirs. And that's no matter what color you are. All right, so let's get back to the story. So she goes to touch my hair. And I'm looking at her. So now this could be a very uncomfortable situation for most people, because you could be in this situation and be afraid to speak up for yourself. Got me? You could be afraid to, carve out some space so that you can set boundaries for yourself, right? So, and I know this could be uncomfortable. However, as she's approaching, I look at her and I say, when she says to me, because she sees me look at her, because she was getting ready to come in anyway. And I looked at her and she said, can I touch your hair? And I said, no, you cannot touch my hair. Speaking up for myself, I'm setting boundaries, family. Okay. So no, this woman And let me just say this in the background, my best friend Tab, as I said, no, you can't. Tab was like, don't you touch her hair. So we like kind of hit her at the same time. So then she goes into what? And she plays the victim. Well, why can't I touch your hair? She says, it's beautiful. And I just think it's beautiful. And I just want to know why I can't touch your hair. And I looked at her and I said, why would you want to touch my hair? I get that it's beautiful. Okay. And I love the fact that you complimented me. I think that that was amazing. And I gave you respect and I said, thank you. I showed you that I was grateful for that. But why would you want to touch my hair? So she said, she goes on this, now she's a victim. So she says she's playing a victim role. Well, I just don't understand why things are so crazy in this world right now. Like things are really crazy and people are just at each other. She said people, she didn't say races, but we knew what she was inferring. People are just at each other. And I mean, things should just be so simple. We should just get along. We should get along, like there are no bad people, we should just get along. So I said, well, you know what? I agree with you. Things are crazy and we should just get along. So if we maybe understand where other people stand, other people's walks of life, then it would help us to better engage. We have some understanding and some empathy for other people in their walks of life, then we could better understand each other and we could get along. But let me explain this to you. She was like, I don't understand. Anywho, I said, so here, let me give you an example. So let's just say you're a nice looking woman. You're an attractive woman. And a man got on this plane and he looked at you and he said, wow, you are really attractive. And if he said that you were really attractive and you go, thank you. And then he comes up closer and he takes his hand and he rubs it up and down your face. How would you feel? If he rubbed it up and down your face, she was like, oh my gosh, like that would be her. Why would he put his hands on my face? That's disgusting. That's creepy. I said, exactly. In the same way, you can admire something, but that does not give you the right to touch it. Do you get it? You catch my drift? Yeah. I said, I am not a dog. I am not a stuffed animal. I am a human being with a story and a life. So I am not an object. I'm not an object. So you can admire something, but you respect it. And you give me the compliment. That was enough. Okay. So this woman, even though she felt like, oh my gosh, we need to kumbaya and be together. And she was like, okay. So let me just tell y'all about 40 minutes later, she felt like she needed to go to the bathroom. And y'all know if y'all ever fly, I've traveled around the world. I fly all the time. You put your little under the seat bag, you put it right under the seat. She put hers under the seat, and then it was time she wanted to go to the restroom. I'm like, okay, come on. You can get up and go to the restroom. So as she gets up to go to the restroom, she reaches down in her family. Come on over here because I have something for you. Starting off with a go-to guide for keeping your minds healthy and strong. This right here is the Bible to mental health. It's your mental health Bible. The name of it is 6 Pillars to Power Up Your Mind and Make Mental Health a Lifestyle. Everything that you need to know about keeping your minds healthy and strong is in this go-to guide. Where you get it from? Well, you get it from awisebrown.com/shop. But in this go-to guide, honey, in this mental health Bible, you know what you're going to find out? You're going to find out the benefits of aromatherapy and how it can shift your mood. But guess what? You don't have to go any place else to look for your aromatherapy because your girls got you, okay? You can get some aromatherapy here. This is aromatherapy is in this candle. This is called A slice of happiness. It makes me tingle, like literally makes me tingle. A slice of happiness. This is a cruelty-free candle with no parabens, no formaldehyde, and no known suspected carcinogenics. Now, you go out here and you find these candles that smell good, but are they good for you? Are they good for your brain? Come on now, get real with yourself. Well, this one smells delicious and it's good for you. Made with essential oils. It's a soy candle. Amazing. You can burn it or you can just walk by and smell it. Lord have mercy, it's so good. Okay, so that's your candle, your aromatherapy, which raises the dopamine in your brain. That's your natural feel good neurotransmitters in your brain. All right, y'all. And I'm a part of you. You're a part of me. We are a family. We got hoodies now, and these are unisex hoodies, and they wear well, they wash well, and they feel so good. So you can wear them over your clothes, you know what I'm saying, and look dope, or you can wear them as your clothes with nothing under them, which I like to do often. And when you travel everywhere, I mean, every time I wear them, I'm moving around. People are always asking me whether I'm traveling, going to the supermarket. What's that? Who's that? And I'm like, mental health is a lifestyle. Because see, this is on the back. Okay? They come in white and they come in black. I'm like, join the family. Mental health is a lifestyle podcast. So there you go. Family, don't you ever say that I ain't give you nothing. You get all of these things from awisebrown.com/shop. All right? I got your goods. I got you. You don't have to go anyplace else. I'll see you on the other side. Down in her bag because my peripheral was still looking. And she takes her wallet out of her purse, her bag, and stuffs it in her pants and gets up and scoots by me and takes it to the bathroom. Not a makeup bag to redo her makeup. It was her wallet. That just left me to believe that this woman who wanted kumbaya, wanted us to get together, wanted to understand and be educated, what offended me, also knew that she felt like she had to protect herself from these two black women by taking her wallet to the bathroom. Never done that. Saw that. Okay. But I set boundaries. I said no, no, no. Another time, y'all, me and my sister, good friend, Makila, and my niece Tiaja, we are shopping. One day we are shopping, and as we are shopping, we go into a store. And this is in California, and it was a very expensive store. And in this expensive store, all of a sudden, there was an Asian woman and she was working in the store. And as she was working in the store, and let me just tell y'all, this store was a nice store. There was nothing in this store that was under $200. No garment in this store was under $250. And I will tell you, I don't even remember the name of the store because the clothes in the store was so small, like I couldn't even put my left toe in it. But the clothes were beautiful. We just perused the store. And as we got ready to leave out, the woman who worked in the store, the salesperson who happened to be an Asian woman, was following me around. And then she looked at me and I'm looking like, okay, she's following me. Like, why is she following me? So I look at her and I speak and I say, hello. And then she says, this is me speaking up for myself. Be confident. Hey, I'm setting boundaries, speaking up for myself. And then she goes, your hair is beautiful. So I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much for telling me that my hair is beautiful. Like, thank you. Right. And then she's like, oh, and then she brings her hand closer and she goes to touch it. So here I go, step in. I put my hand up in front of her hand and I said, absolutely not. Now, you know better than that. She looked at me like, what do you mean? Your hair is so beautiful. I say, well, thank you. I've already said to you that, thank you for that, right? I thanked you for your compliment. However, that is inappropriate. And I'm sure you know that touching another human being because you want to is inappropriate. Okay, so there I go. So she was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I said, okay, I can receive that. I can receive that. But let me just let you know, if no one has ever let you know this before, and if you've had this urge before, I'm here to school you and let you know that that is inappropriate behavior. I am not a doggy. I am not a stuffed animal. I am not a piece of these beautiful clothes. I'm not a hanger. You don't get to touch me. However, I appreciate the compliment. So let me tell you what I also did. So not only did I set boundaries and spoke up for myself, but I also looked at the situation objectively, okay? Because I know that this woman meant me no harm, so I didn't need to cuss her out. I didn't need to yell at her. No. I can look at a situation objectively, put myself in someone else's shoes and go, okay, she saw something that she had never seen before. And for some reason, I don't know, in her upbringing, she felt entitled to touch it, even if it was another human being. So for me to be upset about that wouldn't have served anybody. So I took the opportunity objectively to educate her instead. All right. Okay. And then let me tell y'all what I did. I picked my battles. I didn't want to yell at her. I didn't want to scream at her. I picked this was nothing to fight over. Let me choose to educate this woman like I educated the Caucasian woman on the plane. I looked at it objectively and then I picked my battles. So there you go, y'all. You got number one, what's my fear? Let me ask, what is my fear about me speaking up? Number two, be confident. Number three, set boundaries. Number four, look at the situation objectively. They wasn't trying to harm a sister. They may have gotten harmed, but no. Number five, I decided I'm going to pick my battles. This is nothing to battle over. Let me just choose to educate. Let me choose to educate. And let me just tell y'all one more thing. Another situation where this happened, okay, where I was literally in another country, in Mexico, with my same sister, Michaela, and my niece, Tiaja. And as we are in Mexico, for some reason, this woman came up to me and she was a Hispanic woman. She was a Mexican woman, right? Of Mexican descent. She came up to me. She saw me and I was coming at her. And for some reason, I do believe that she was inebriated. But as she saw me, she complimented me on my hair. She said, "Oh, your hair." And I said, "Thank you. Thank you." Okay, let's keep it moving. And she said, "Oh, no, your hair." And both her hands were coming towards my hair. And I said, "Thank you," as I started to move back from her hands that were coming at my hair. And then she said, "Your hair." So here I go. I'm setting boundaries. I said, "No, no, 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 no. Move your hands. No." Then I start to look at the situation objectively. She appears to be drunk, or maybe there's a developmental delay. Okay, intellectual delay. This is me assessing the situation, looking at it objectively. And then I'm realizing I got to pick my battles. So is this a battle to be had or not? And so this woman continued after I said to her no and started to, I was literally family bobbing and weaving so that she didn't touch my hair. Honey, she came very close and I had to pop her. I had to pop the woman. Now, I picked my battle. This was a battle that I had to choose to defend myself. Don't you ever put your hands on me. Pop that hand, okay? So as I popped the hand, for some reason, she felt a victim. Oh my God. Oh, and I looked at her. And so then now I'm really literally, y'all, about to square up. I done picked my I'm like, what? Like, what do you want to do? Because you disrespectful and you still standing on it. But after she saw that I was real serious and she got the little pop, she decided to walk on. Okay. So there you go. And I was literally standing by myself because my sister and my niece was someplace else. This is me by myself. But I'm just saying, y'all, speaking up for yourself. Speak up for yourself. Choose to. And of course, y'all know, number 6 is trust God. Trust God through it all. Because in that situation, when I had to pick my battle and I knew that this was a battle, when it was time to square up, I said, okay, Lord, I don't need to be in a Mexican jail. All right. I done heard about these jails out of the United States of America. And listen, y'all know at a concert, I like to see toenails, meaning be up at the front. On a plane, if I like to be up in the front, then you know your girl Andrea is not going to do well in jail. Okay? That actually rhymes. So I had to trust God in me battling, squaring up. And God delivered and let that little lady go on. So, family, speak up for yourself. Speak up for yourself. Number one, quickly, ask yourself, what's holding you back? What is the fear? And push through the fear. What's the fear? Why are you not taking up the space that God created for you to take up? Number two, be confident. Educate yourself so that you know what you're talking about when you're talking. Number three, you're going to set boundaries with people that you are speaking up for yourself too. Create the space for you to speak up for yourself. Okay. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the situation objectively. Don't personalize it. Is this really about me personally, Andrea? Is it about me, or really is it about them? And if it's about them, then it's kind of like, okay, they aren't out here to harm me. No, they just need to be educated. And I'm going to do it by speaking up for myself. And number 5, pick your battles. Is this a battle? Is it or not? Because if it's not, like on the plane, that wasn't no battle. You see what I'm saying? In that store with the Asian, like there was no battle there. No. But here, this Mexican one, this Hispanic one, there was a battle. Okay. And I had to take the battle, but I had to trust God through it. There we go. I had to trust him, and he always delivers. Because I'm back in front of you. No Mexican jail for me. So there you go, family. You have the power to speak up for yourself. God created you to take up space here in this world. And if you have issues with a lack of confidence, or that fear that you can't move through with speaking up for yourself, find you a good therapist, family, to help you process and move through this. Because I am telling you that you are worth it. And I just felt like it was so interesting. These are real stories that happened in my life, that all of those situations, all of those women were different races, and they still tried to really be aggressive with what it was that what they wanted. But what I did was turned it around, chose to take up space and speak up for myself, and was very assertive. I wasn't passive. I ain't let nobody run me over and play me out. I wasn't aggressive, but I was assertive and speaking up for myself. All right, family. Family, I love you, love you, love you, love you long time. That is another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast. And family, I will see you next week on the next episode. You know I'm here. It's Andrea Wise-Brown. Speak up for yourself.